Welcome everyone to our Q3 2023 Vault Hour session. You're joined by our lovely co-host Jasira and Ryan, and myself, Casey. I'm calling from Portland, Oregon today. We have quite a few people from around the world. I saw that someone's coming from Germany. Someone's here in a later time zone. I saw someone say good evening. So we're definitely coming from all over the place. So welcome as we're able to join and talk about security in one place. I love it. So our agenda today, we saved probably the most exciting thing for first,
First,
which is
yeah.
passkey management. So exciting. It's here. And so Ryan's going to walk us through exactly what that means, what you're able to do with passkeys now that it's launched. So I'm excited to learn more personally. And the next is sounds a little bit less exciting is a 2024 budget planning. But it is very important to start thinking of how your passkey or password management solution fits into your 2024 budget as we approach the new year. So something to stick around for. Next would be giving the gift of security as we enter into the holiday season. And then lastly, other Bitwarden product updates. Passkey management is very exciting, but we also have a lot of other stuff that has been released in October and November that you might want to learn about. Per usual, you are always welcome to join on screen. Just note in the chat that you have a live question or comment and we'll get you promoted. We want to make sure that everyone's voice is heard during these sessions. And let's see, it looks like we have an initial question around PRF in browsers.
hmm Yep, and I'm happy to talk about this one. So, PRF is an extension to the FIDO protocols for passkeys. And what's really cool about it is it will actually let us use passkeys for encryption and decryption. So it's a really neat idea. We'll be able to use a passkey to both, because as you know, Bitwarden is encrypted end to end. So if you logged into Bitwarden with a passkey, you still need to come up with some way to decrypt your vault. If we didn't have PRF, it would look as though you were using your passkey to log in, and then you would need to enter your master password to get to the decryption key, which isn't really that great of an experience. But PRF lets everything happen all at once. At the moment, I believe that PRF was originally just supported in Chrome Canary, but just recently moved to full production. So PRF is available in Chrome currently, but not too many other things. So we are looking at getting the login with passkey feature out before the end of this year. But it is going to have some limitations just because of what isn't supported. So you'll see some more information on this in the next few weeks.
And to clarify as well is that we already have passkey management launched, but login with passkey will be
That's
another
right.
functionality where you can actually log into your Bitwarden vault with passkeys. It's an important distinction there. We're talking a lot about passkeys, a lot about passwordless, and there's quite a few different offerings in that space.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. There's so much happening that it can get confusing if you're not living and breathing it like I am right now.
Exactly. Yeah, you are. You're head deep in that, definitely.
Yes, and
So
I
yeah,
get to
do you
keep
want to
talking
jump
about it.
into? Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I'm glad we did this first because I'm sure we get a lot of questions about passkeys, and I'm very excited about passkeys as well. So we'll go ahead and jump to the next slide. Just to show you a picture's worth 1,000 words. If you now go to a website that requests a passkey or has one enabled, Bitwarden will take that request and ask if you want to log in with a passkey or create a passkey, and boom, that's it. No password required. So just this picture here. This is actually really neat. This is Ubico has it's called Playground, the Ubico Playground, and you could just play with all the passkeys that you want. You can just create and delete and destroy whatever, and experiment with stuff. There's another website called passkeys.io, which is also really good for helping figure out, like just kind of see how things work. Uh, we've used it all the time for understanding testing grounds and such, but you can go check that out and experiment with it right now. The extension, just make sure I'm putting the version number here in chat. You need to have the extension version of 2023.10.2 to have which is the latest version supporting passkeys. All right, so story and passkeys in Bitwarden. We had a pretty large event yesterday. We did a big webcast. I'll talk a bit more about that soon, but this slide actually comes from that, and just some of the stuff we wanted to say about the passkeys being stored in Bitwarden. So first, we are starting with the browser extension. There's a lot more planned and coming soon with this, and we are continuously iterating on what we have already launched. Mobile and desktop applications are planned. Our on Reddit, our founder had talked a little bit about what our plans were for mobile. Just kind of lay the cards out on the table. There is a technical limitation with with the programming language Xamarin that we use for our mobile applications, and we are in the process of rebuilding our applications in native languages. So until we're able to get around the technical hurdle that Xamarin has given us, which we are actively trying to do. Passkeys for mobile will be pending, and hopefully, I mean, it's hard to say because it's making a new app from scratch, building it from the ground up, but hopefully early next year we'll see. And then there was a couple of comments about import and exporting, which is also part of that is backups. The FIDO Alliance, which is the organization that is putting together industry standards, which Bitwarden is part of, Google's a part of, Apple's a part of. They're still finalizing the industry standards for importing and exporting, and we just don't think it would be a good idea to kind of create our own standard that you would just but we would willy-nilly hack together. We want to follow, because we are a member of the alliance, we want to follow the best practices. Those best practices aren't published yet, so there is no importing capability or exporting capability at this time. So that's the same across any passkey manager right now that supports passkeys. So you'll see that. So hopefully soon. We're at the forefront of shepherding that into existence. And I did mention rapid iterations. You saw that we're already at .2. We started at .0 and then .1 and .2. We received a lot of community feedback when we first released it. Even before, we didn't make the announcement until Tuesday, but our community members, all of you, who pay attention to our GitHub and our on our Reddit all the time, and in the community, sideloaded some of our builds early before they even made it to the stores, and started experimenting with it and giving us some early feedback. Some of that early feedback was very good feedback that we decided to implement as quickly as we could. The biggest one was improvements to flow, and so. If a user were to close the passkey window, or if there were no passkeys available on the website, instead of Bitwarden interrupting the process, now it just defaults back to the browser. So this was a problem with some users who were already using YubiKeys as a passkey, and Bitwarden would interrupt that. That's not going to be the case anymore. And we also made some additional adjustments to specific websites that were trying to call out YubiKeys with attributes that weren't quite to industry standard. We just tried to accommodate those. So as I said, the newest version is .2 and all of your extensions, so go ahead and grab that and start playing with that if you like. Next slide, please. And yes, the webcast, there's a replay right now. Let me grab the link for that. If you want to go watch it, it was about an hour of nothing but passkeys. If you want to learn more there, it'll be on YouTube today. I believe we have an edited version that takes out all of my really cool copyrighted music. So it'll just be the passkey presentation. But it's not just me on there. We have Anders, who is our passwordless.dev founder. We also had our product team on as well, and we were all answering a lot of questions. The audience gave us some really good feedback and questions, and so we had a lot of conversation. That to some points, like even just to get through some slides, I had to say, hey, we're gonna wait till the Q&A section. And you can watch this and learn more about where passkeys are going, like not only for Bitwarden, but also as an industry as a whole.
And that's actually a really good follow-up. We actually got another question about PRF and the future of PRF, if it's just part of Chrome or the Chromium engine, so to arrive on Chromium-based browsers, hopefully.
Yeah, so it's really new. I was actually just in a meeting the other day talking about this, and at the moment, I believe it's only Chrome, but it should be coming to Chromium browsers soon. I'm not exactly sure what the development flow is like when it goes from Google to Chromium or back, but people smarter than me are on the case. We just know that right now it would only be supported with Chrome. And additionally, just to set expectations for it when it comes out, it's not going to be able to be supported in other clients at the moment. Only the web app. So it's a brand new technology. It's PRF really hasn't been used before. Like end-to-end encrypted logging in with passkeys is very new conceptually. Um, there are uh, there are ways that people can get around like that, needing to have that decryption key, that are pretty clever, but it's not really a true passkey login. So we're going to do that first as we move toward potentially full passwordless, no master password needed at all for Bitwarden. So like, that includes like even when you create an account, no master password needed. So we're working towards that. And also, if you can think about with passkeys, that would also mean no email needed either. So that's an interesting scenario for some of the security enthusiasts out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting stuff. Thank you, Daniel, for that question.
Yeah. Any other questions about passkeys right now before we move on to the something I'm also equally fond of? People who know me know I love budgeting. Um, but any further questions about passkeys? There's been a lot of if you want to see like a lot of good responses from Bitwarden employees about some of this, like you can go to our community forums or our Reddit. Our subreddit has a lot of seems like every day there's like two or three new threads about passkeys with really good insights there and feedback from Bitwarden employees as well. So yeah, please go check that out if you have any further questions. I'm also lurking there too, so you'll see me comment here and there on things.
Cool. I'm not seeing any other questions, so I think we can move on.
Okay, 2024 IT budget planning. We are halfway through Q4. You're in corporate if that scares you when you hear that. Um, I used to work in a big corporation, and those were very scary words to hear. So I wrote this blog last year for those corporations and enterprises about why you should include a password manager in your IT budget. Most people at this point in time are looking towards the next fiscal year and what they can have, what can they spend. Some people might even have money left over from this year, which doesn't happen all that often. Um, but if you do have some money, maybe you would want to start building a POC of Bitwarden to expand out to everybody next year. Um, if we go to the next slide, the blog covered all that, but everything that I talked about in 2023 is just as applicable in 2024 because now these slides are from a different presentation. But it's the harsh truth is that every year it becomes more and more uh, necessary to secure your business as the costs keep getting higher. This data comes from IBM. They do a report every year, and every year it keeps going up. Higher than inflation. So yes, it just keeps getting more expensive as records are compromised, like significantly more every year. I think there was just a bunch of a big one happened at MGM just recently. That was a ransomware that caused billions of dollars of damages to them. So if we go to the next slide. Oh, another one of these. Yeah, exactly. So the biggest thing, the data that comes through, like all the reports that happened in 2023 and 2022, is that compromised credentials account for 86% of breaches, and that is credentials that have possibly been reused, have been revealed in a data breach, um, or were weak or phished. So that's credentials that were compromised, and those are responsible for 86% of all breaches and 41% of all ransomware attacks. So it really just comes down to employees are not good at making strong passwords. I can barely remember. Um, I just had a newborn, and I can't even remember exactly her birthday. How am I going to remember? How am I going to remember a really long, complicated 16-character password, and one for every account? Like so, humans, we're human, we're fallible, and so we're not great at passwords, and so you really need a password manager to help you keep your business secure. And yeah, an ounce of prevention is better, more valuable, greater than a pound of cure. Stitch in time saves nine. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of other savings sayings about that, but really, like we have Bitwarden is a much cheaper proposition than getting a breach. And I just wanted to talk that we did call attention to our new Teams starter pack, where now for $20 a month you could secure 10 users. So even smaller businesses are able to get really good password security for a really low per user price. So this is a new offering that we also just launched.
Yeah, so to clarify, it's $20 not per user, but for 10 users. So
Correct.
a little
Two
bit of a different model
$2 a
than some of
user.
our other
Yeah.
plans. Yeah.
Per month for the business features, and it comes with the full features of the prior package, the Teams plan. So it's not handicapped in any way. Okay,
Cool.
that's it for me for now, I think.
Great. Yeah, I think so. I'm not seeing any other questions, so we can move on. You can always ask whatever questions or comments you'd like as we go through. We always try and take some time to answer these. They can be related and they can be unrelated, whatever, are related to Bitwarden and security, I hope, but we also like to answer other questions as well. Cool. So, three ways to give the gift of security. As we are approaching the holiday season, whatever holidays you celebrate during the winter season, there are multiple ways to give the gift of security to your family, friends, colleagues, neighbors. Whoever you'd like. And the first option is just gifting Bitwarden, right? So you can gift a Bitwarden subscription, whether that's premium or families, and gift that to families and friends via PayPal. So just pick an amount that matches that plan you'd like to gift, right? Share it with PayPal, and then you'll just have that recipient of the gift sign up for Bitwarden and assign PayPal as the payment method. So very simple, a very good way to make sure that the people you care about are being safe online. I wish some more of my family members were safer online, but um, that's 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 life, I guess. But maybe I'll be gifting this to some of them as we enter into the holiday season. The next option is more for businesses, right? So if you are on an enterprise plan, I don't know if everyone knows this, but you can get a free families plan just by being on an enterprise plan, right? So you gift the gift of security both inside and outside of work with strong password management. And we actually have an email template to notify employees if you are an employer. But if you're an employee, you can just redeem this families plan for your family by logging into your Bitwarden organization, selecting free Bitwarden families from the account dropdown, and provide your personal email. And then once you accept the offer from your confirmation email, it will be redeemed. So a pretty cool setup, if you ask me, something to definitely look into. Okay, we got another question. I will get to that in a second. And lastly is gifting Bitwarden swag. So this is great for the tech geeks in your life who likes to rep their credential management solution to the outside world. So you can order an item at bitwarden.com/shop, or you can also stick around to the end of the session. If you've been here before, you know that we always do a giveaway for some cash towards the Bitwarden store. So you are welcome to gift it that way. Cool. It looks like we got a question around the Bitwarden Web Vault about folder archives hiding blacklist feature during search and listings,
Hmm.
or a similar feature to match detection never for items within a folder. Um,
Yeah, so I mean, I can talk a little bit about folders in specific. So folders
yeah.
specifically are just for UI, like they don't really do any specific functionality. The team is working on some additions to this, looking at revamping how this works at Bitwarden, but I haven't really heard anything about a hide blacklist feature during search or listings. I'm imagining then that you're looking to have something hidden from search. Um, I don't remember seeing anything of that nature before. If you would like to, please go to our forums where we have a feature request form, and please put it in there so users can vote on it. But that's interesting.
Yeah, thank you for that. And then we also got another question. Are there any plans to offer a plan or ability for individuals and families to purchase or enable additional organizations? I also don't believe that's currently on our roadmap, but please feel free to add that in our community as a feature request, and let's see if if it gets
Cool.
more votes, we can definitely kind of think about it a little bit more. Were you going
Well,
to
hang
add
on.
something to that, Ryan?
Yeah, I guess the question is here more than two. So right now, you can create a free organization. Anybody can create a free organization for two people. But you can create as many organizations as you like. You just have to pay for each one of them. That's how that works. So you can create a families account, you can create a second families account, you can create a third families account, and be members and owners of all of them. But there going to be three separate billings or two separate billings, depending on how many you have. So there's everybody gets one for free that they can be a part of with one other person. And then anything other than that, like if you created a Teams account, Team Starter account, Enterprise account, Family account, Premium account. Well, the Premium account doesn't have an organization, but a Family account has an organization. Um, you can just go right now if you want to go in the web app and click on Create New Organization. Up in the top left, you'll see that there's nothing stopping you from doing that. So if there's some other feature that we're missing here, um, that you're requesting, please let me know because yeah, would definitely love to hear more insight.
We have a couple other questions. Okay, yeah, already added that feature request to the community. No updates so far. Okay, thank you. Um, we have an app that doesn't have two-factor authentication on it currently. If we were to switch to use passkeys with passwordless.dev for all users instead of passwords, how do the users log in to new devices and browser sessions if they don't have Bitwarden? And is two-factor authentication possible through passwordless.dev, or would we need to buy another service to handle the two TOTP codes?
All right, so Danny, you're talking about you're developing a website that doesn't have two-factor authentication, and you're wondering if you can add passkeys to it um, instead of passwords. The answer is yes, you can. In fact, I would recommend you go to passwords.dev and look at our documentation. Um, Passkeys are inherently two-factor authentication. So what's going to happen is that as passkeys become more common, you're going to start seeing websites that use passkeys disable their second factor authentication. And the reason for that is that a passkey is something that you have, right? And then you enabling that passkey through like a PIN or a master password is the thing that you know. So the assumption is that if the website is presenting you a passkey, um, it will automatically assume that it's already two-factor authenticated and not require a two-factor authentication afterward. Now, remember, this is only true if you use a specific type of passkey for authentication. But it is you can read more about that in the passwordless.dev documentation. Um, so that's why we don't offer TOTP generation as part of the passwordless.dev. Is because the passkeys already are 2FA built into them. Some websites, actually, I learned Amazon will tell you that it's not necessary to have two-factor authentication on, but will let you do it anyway if you really wanted to when you're using a passkey. But a lot of websites will just turn off two-factor if you're using a passkey. I think GitHub does, for example.
Yeah, great. Thank you for answering all these questions about passkeys. I
Yeah,
feel like this is just deja vu
yeah.
from your last webinar
Yeah. Oh,
yesterday.
and about other users who don't have Bitwarden enabled already. Firstly, Bitwarden, you still need to log in. You would right now. Bitwarden only allows passkeys to be managed and used with the browser extension. As we come to more apps, you'll see more apps support it. But other passkey managers, for example, like Apple and Google, who are really working first in the mobile space, they have ways that you could do that as well. Like users would be able to use passkeys to log in that way, like through like pictures with QR codes that they scan and such.
Great. Well, if there's no other questions about that specific topic, we can move on to other product updates outside of passkeys, as exciting as
Casey,
this is.
hang on. I got one here from for
Oh,
Secrets Manager.
a question?
Yeah, it's in the chat. So, is there any plan on a premium plan for Bitwarden Secrets Manager where the users are still limited to two but more projects. So two users, but more
Oh.
projects.
hmm I do not think that's currently on the roadmap. So, yeah, so it's not currently on the roadmap. I understand where you're coming from, wanting to, expand the functionality of the free plan, but with more projects. Because Secrets Manager is more tailored for the as a business solution as opposed to a personal solution, we're currently not offering that. So the next kind of jump up in that would be the Teams plan. But as you saw, we recently released the team starter plan for password manager. So that doesn't mean that that won't be available in the future. Who knows what we might decide in terms of secrets manager pricing, right? We're still kind of evaluating what makes sense there, but that's not currently on the roadmap. But if that's something that you're interested in, please submit a feature request. I'd love to learn a little bit more about why you're looking for those more projects, what your exact use case is. That'd be very interesting. And then we got another question about an ETA for the folder hide archive feature to make searches clutter free.
Um, Probably not for a little while. I don't have an ETA specifically on that. If you wanted to, you can look at. I'll put this here in chat right now. So I recognize that you're new to us, so welcome. Thank you for being a part of this today. We have a bitwarden.com/roadmap, a public roadmap that you can look at that will tell you what is currently being researched and what is actively in development. This roadmap does not come with dates because things always change, so you're welcome to take a look at that over there. Additionally, if search seems to be where you're doing a lot of your work, I actually have a really good help article for advanced searching. So here is that article right here as well. So you can go look at some of this here. There's basic search, full text search, index fields, wildcards that might help you get to exactly what you're looking for. So maybe something like this that's not part of the user interface, but instead is using text-based like pluses and minuses and other prefixes will get you what you need.
Yeah, that's also a good reminder is we see a lot of the same faces in these vault hour sessions month to month or quarter to quarter, but I do realize that there's new people on here every time. So yeah, we should be really just making it a practice to reposting these links for the
Hmm.
roadmap, the help center and the community forums. So I appreciate re-leveraging those. Okay, so other product updates for Bitwarden. Passkeys is super exciting, but there's also other exciting things to highlight. First being autofill cards and identities via the context menu for Password Manager. As we, enter into the holiday season, I don't know about everyone else, but I'm going to be doing a lot of online shopping, and being able to have my identity and cards being autofilled into forms is going to make my life so much easier. Um, so you just enter into the context menu by right clicking, go down to Bitwarden, and then you can autofill from there. So much easier to use the identities and cards stored in your Bitwarden vault when you are, online needing to fill that information. Next is the direct LastPass importer. I'm assuming everyone on this call right now is probably a Bitwarden user, but if you have friends or family members who are still using LastPass, we have a much easier way to import all of that information over to Bitwarden Password Manager with just your login. So there's no need to do a file export and you know, uh, make your passwords kind of exposed in that way. So all you need is your login. You put in your email to LastPass, and you can import it directly that way. This is available via our browser extension and desktop apps currently. So definitely highlight that for those who may still be using LastPass. Um, Very concerning. But cool. Moving on to Secrets Manager, we now have self-hosting support for Secrets Manager. So specifically for the enterprise plan, we're looking to gain who's looking to gain further control of their secrets management environment or data, and it offers the same options as the password manager. So you'll be self-hosting via Docker containers or a DigitalOcean droplet. Very similar startup process as to the password manager, just for secrets manager. No shade. Very funny. Cool. Okay, moving on to the event logs view for Secrets Manager. So we've always had event logs for Secrets Manager. That's just available via the admin console. But now for privileged users, they can also view event logs for service accounts underneath that specific service account. So much easier to understand when and by what accessed a secret, and what machine was actually doing that. So that's available under service accounts and the event logs tab. We got a question. If I ported over my LastPass entries, I would definitely want to change every password. Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's completely
Uh,
valid.
yeah. You see, you sort
Go
by
on, Ryan.
last change or something like that.
Yeah.
I know there's this has been requested before. The team is figuring out how to implement something like that. Like sorting by last changed. Your maybe your best bet would be exporting over or exporting it out to a CSV file, um, making changes and importing it that way, or just figure out if you want to do it alphabetically. I haven't really figured out the best scenario for this here for changing every password because fortunately I've never had to do that yet. Um, but I recognize that it is sometimes painful to do, and anything that you can help you along would definitely be appreciated. But other than what I just mentioned, we don't have anything inside of Bitwarden that can do that for you.
Yeah, when I moved everything over to Bitwarden, I had to go through and change a lot of my passwords. And I remember I created a list of probably my most high value accounts first. So things like my bank account, my Roth IRA, those kinds of things, and updated those first. And then I kind of went through just alphabetically, unfortunately, and changed those. So probably not the best process, but that's how I did it at least. I don't know if anyone else had to go through that process, God
Yeah.
forbid,
Another
and
option
had
could
to
be
go
like
change
creating a
all of their
folder.
passwords.
You have a folder that says updated versus not updated yet, and then you can move them over every time you do an update. Um,
That's a
Because
good idea. Yeah.
yeah, the interesting thing is that NIST, the National Institute of Security Standards of Technology or something like that, so it's a governmental agency. Um, they basically retracted the change your password every 3 months uh, recommendation and said, hey, what actually ended up happening is that users just kept incrementing their passwords by like one digit. Like instead of password one, it was password two, and then password three, and then password four, and all it did was it just caused a lot of headaches for people. So now the recommendation is it just create a strong password, and then you'll never have to change it unless there's a data breach. Um,
Hmm.
so Bitwarden offers reports for data breaches, and once you create a password and it's sufficiently long and strong, so long as there's no data breach, there is no need for you to try to change that password. You could still if you want to, if you can't break that habit, but it's not the official recommendation for best practice now.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I was going to suggest using the data breach report. It's really helpful to understand, which passwords might actually be breached. So it uses, what is it, the I got pwned or am I pwned?
Have I been pwned? Yeah,
Have I been
HIBPD.
pwned? So
Yeah.
close, so close. That website and that framework. So definitely very safe to use. And very helpful. I used it a lot, and changed a lot of my passwords because of it. Lots of things to learn from. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions, so we can move on to the news feed with Ryan.
Yeah, actually, before I jump into our news feed, there was one feature that is actually coming soon. We haven't made an official announcement about it yet, so you guys are getting the inside scoop here. And this is mostly for you enterprise individuals, if any of you are monitoring an installation. But Bitwarden is working on, and we soft launched, so you have to contact support for it, a Helm chart for installing Bitwarden to a Kubernetes cluster. It's still using Docker at its heart, but now you can get it on Kubernetes. So if any of you are interested in experimenting with that and giving us some feedback, please just reach out to support and say, hey, I heard about this, I want some more information, and we'll get you to the right place. We will probably be doing a full launch of it later this month with full documentation. But if you wanted to get in a little early, I know that that has been something that has been requested from our enterprise customers for quite some time. Okay, let me jump over into the news feed. A bunch of things. Let's see. I was a little bit lazy this time because there's a lot of articles that are great, but hey, passkeys, everybody's talking about it. Tech Radar, ZDNet, 9 to 5 Mac, everyone's talking about passkeys. We already talked about it ad nauseum here, so I don't need to go into it any further. But just that the press seems to be pretty happy about this, and they mostly have the story right. A lot of times we have to correct press on different things, but we still seem pretty good there. The next slide, we released, this is really cool actually. I'm going to find it. Hang on. Um, I think it's actually linked on our homepage right now. Yes. Decoding Tomorrow, Developer Secrets, Security, and the Future of Passkeys. I'm going to put this here in chat. We released a survey, or rather data from a survey about what people think is coming around the corner. And interestingly, and what is catching all the headlines because AI is so hot right now, is that developers think that AI is a security threat. That AI would be able to do really, really intelligent phishing and help with, breaking passwords and such. So there's some really interesting information here. It got picked up by some of the news sources. You can look in this article I just shared for some of the big hitting findings that came out of it. But yeah, this is really neat to hear, and it was a survey of developers. So the developer survey that we have here talks about what they're thinking about for the future. All right, next slide. This came from Wired, talking to the best password managers to secure your digital life. Hey, guess who's on that list? Bitwarden. I can't do two thumbs up point at me, right? Like I have to point at everybody, like the community and everyone. It's everyone. We Bitwarden, as a collective, we are considered one of the best password managers to secure your digital life. But you're here, you already know that, so I don't need to keep preaching to the choir. The next slide, Fast Company really likes us. We were named to one of the brands that matter to their list there, and they're talking about how we are really good at securing personal and business browsing. So yeah, we accepted the award graciously and thanked them for it, and are happy to talk about the articles that they've written about us. So yay, thanks, Fast Company.
Cool. Well, we can move on over to the blog. We also had a lot of interesting blog articles this past quarter or past couple of months since we last talked. First being FIDO WebAuthn two-factor authentication is now available in all Bitwarden plans. So this has been available for quite some time in every plan but free plans. So being able to use a passkey or hardware key as two-factor authentication to access your Bitwarden vault. But now it's also available for free plans. So just more aligned with our commitment to providing security for all. It's been available since the September release, so everyone can kind of start getting started securing their accounts a little bit more. Um, Really great release there. Next is an article that helps make sense of the SEC, so Securities and Exchange Commission. They released new cyber reporting rules that specifically state that businesses have to disclose material cybersecurity incidents within 4 days of the incident. So this article kind of helps you make sense of it, right? So right in the title, kind of details exactly what this rules mean and how to prevent those material incidents, material cybersecurity leaks from happening in the first place. So really helpful if you are in a business where you might be in charge of reporting that. Next is how to protect your digital footprint. So this gives 5 tips on protecting your digital footprint online. Um, some of it's common sense, but some of it's really helpful. So, just being a little bit more cognizant of what you share online, and some recommendations for secure tools to make you a little bit more safe online. Password manager is one of them. Shocking, I know. Next is a Hacktoberfest, so a hackathon that Bitwarden put on this past month. So it's closed, unfortunately, but it was really interesting results. We had multiple challenges across Secrets Manager and passwordless.dev. And if you're interested in things like this, like interested in hackathons and contributing to the open source software space, we do these pretty frequently. So just definitely keep your eye out. We sometimes offer cash prizes. I think the first place cash prize for this was $1,000. So definitely not some chump change, right? Like definitely something that you would put into a savings account somewhere, or I don't know, treat yourself. But appreciate everyone who contributed during this hackathon. We are really excited to see some of the contributions there. Next is specifically cybersecurity tech stack recommendations for your business. So this article details, I think, four core solutions that you should be using within your business to best protect your business. That includes things like SIEM software, so security, information and event management software, firewall security, antivirus software, and then password management software as well. So it details a little bit more about why these solutions matter, how it protects your business, and then some recommendations for some of the best software solutions in those categories in the industry to start looking at. So if you are in an enterprise space or even a startup, start looking at these solutions just to make sure you don't have to do any reporting to the SEC. Definitely recommend that. Next is about smishing. I can never pronounce that right. That's one of those things that I read a lot, but can never say it out loud. But this is essentially SMS phishing attacks. And this article helps you identify and avoid these kinds of attacks, specifically for businesses. But I think a lot of these recommendations also apply to personal or smaller business users. So some of the recommendations is using a password manager, using multi-factor authentication, but then also having an action plan for your employees or your family members whenever they do encounter a suspicious link. So what should they be doing with that? I know curiosity sometimes really gets the best of us, even when we know we shouldn't be looking at that link. So definitely recommend checking out this article to better protect yourself. Next is an article about basically organizing your Bitwarden vault, right? So keeping track of different login types. I know we got a couple questions about folders during this session, and this gives some recommendations for how to best organize your folders, what kind of structure you should be using, and how to clean up your vault. It also gives recommendations for other kinds of login characteristics like naming conventions and URIs. I honestly need to go through and clean up my vault. So this was a really good reminder of some best practices that you should be utilizing to make it a little bit more organized and easier to find items. Cool. Next is Secrets Manager. So if you are a Secrets Manager user, you probably know that access tokens that facilitate the programmatic access between machines, you can generate them once, but you can't re-access them afterwards. So this article helps you basically understand, once you've generated those access tokens, how to securely store them when using bash scripting. Couple different options here depending on what kind of device or solution you're using. I helped write this article. Very interesting to kind of think about of your own security posture about what to do with these access tokens once they're generated. So if you're a secrets manager user and you use bash scripting in your day-to-day work, or you just kind of want to play around with it, I recommend checking this out.
Hey,
And
passkeys. We can talk about passkeys
oh,
again. All
crazy!
right. Yeah.
I know. So we've like Brian said, we've already talked about this so much, but if you want to learn even more information about passkeys, you can check out this article. I bet you the webinar Ryan did is probably the best resource, but still a really good resource for if you just want more information, quick and dirty, right? You don't need to sit through the whole webinar. I
Listen, I put a
recommend
lot of
checking that
effort
out.
into this. It's not dirty. It might be a little quick
Okay,
though. So
there you
here, I'll
go.
put the
Yeah.
link in chat.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, I guess that means it's my turn. Welcome, everybody. I am Jasira, Technical Training Manager here, and I will be discussing all things community training and involvement. We will start with what's already been talked about earlier, which is our Help Center. Now, you can consider the Help Center to be the place where you can find all of your step-by-step instructions, all of your exhaustive information, and documentation related to the products that we have available. So please feel free to visit bitwarden.com/help. And a couple of articles I wanted to pull out for you to view for the next quarter include two-step login methods and account fingerprint phrase. Now we move on to my personal favorite. I'm a little biased, but we also have our Learning Center. Now the Learning Center is also going to provide, as we move to the next slide, it's also going to provide information to you as well, similar to the Help Center, but this will give you video modules so that you have more of a bite-sized chunk type piece of information. And we think that the Learning Center is most effective for those of you who prefer to do as you are learning. And so this will give you the opportunity to pull up a video on a particular subject that you're learning and wanting to become better at with the password manager. This allows you to pull that video up maybe on one screen while you have your vault pulled up on the second screen so that you can follow along. We have a lot of great information, tons of great videos, and just like the Help Center, everything is also sorted by both the product, the way that you will engage, whether you are a beginning end user all the way up to an admin or power user. And then it will give you videos that help you to become acclimated to your role accordingly. Now, we do have new and updated content on the Learning Center each month. And so a few videos I wanted to bring to your attention are going to be related to using custom fields, how to create and store passkeys in Bitwarden, as well as how to customize the Bitwarden password generator. All right. As we move along, we will now talk about community. And I just have a special announcement. We don't have any additional news or any topics we want to discuss. I just want to celebrate and thank all of you between our community.bitwarden.com and our Redditors. You have helped us to cross over the 80,000 followers threshold. I think we're at about 81,000 and some change. And so I wanted to take this moment as we wrap up for the end of the year to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate your contributions, your questions, your suggestions, your assistance, everything that you have done to help us get to this point. We super, we're excited, and we know that we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you. All right, let's move on. And let's talk about some additional ways that you can get involved with the Bitwarden community. First up is related to the Getting Involved site, bitwarden.com/get involved. Now, this is going to be a great place for you to go so that you can get information on joining our beta program, contributing any code, assisting with client localization, and even attending an event in addition to the other items that we're showing you listed here. So we encourage you, if you have additional information, if you have additional code that you think could help make our products even better, we welcome it. And we invite you to go over to bitwarden.com/get involved so that you can find out more about how to become a part of that process. All right, let's move on. And let me stop here and answer this question. Are the learning videos easy for technophobic people to follow, such as those that don't know how to turn a computer on? Okay, so let me help and answer that question. The short version is yes. The way that the video will work, you will simply just find one based off the title. So let's just say there's one for Password Manager 101. You will click on that video and you will see the instructions step by step. You will also have the ability to pause. You will have the ability to rewind or whatever it is that you need to do so that it goes as quickly or as slowly as you need it to. Um, Okay, and that was related to something else. All right, so thank you for your question. All right, so next we have bitwarden.com/careers. So if you'd like to take it a step further and actually become part of the Bitwarden team, we'd be glad to have you. These are some of the open roles that we have available. Senior Customer Success and Engagement Manager, Director of IT Operations, all the way down to the Technical Evangelist Lead. So if you see either of these positions, if they resonate with you, if you think you'd be a great fit, we invite you to go ahead and apply. If you don't see a role here that is available right now, but you would like to be considered as a part of the team at some point, we do invite you to go to our general interest form so that you can start your process from there. Okay, and next we have the events. Now, this is another way to get involved. This will be a way for you to learn more about the Bitwarden Password Manager and just something in terms of an entire industry. And so the first example of that is to learn more about the future of open source security by registering for our summit this year to be held on December 7th. Now, the seminar is free. The summit is going to be free. We just need you to click on the link is listed right here and go ahead and sign up so that you can hear from other industry professionals on what the future of open source security is going to look like. Now, in addition to what we also have in-house, we invite you to our weekly Teams and Enterprise demo. Those will be held every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Time. You would simply register for that by going to bitwarden.com/weekly. And for those of you who might be interested in joining the Bitwarden team as an MSP, you have the ability to take advantage of the MSP demo, which is going to be held every second Thursday of each month. I believe we have the wrong date here, so I'm going to take advantage of having my phone nearby and let you know that the next one will be available on the 8th of December. So December 8th, you will be able to go ahead and take advantage of the demonstration that we have specifically for those who will become MSPs and assist with assisting new Bitwarden clients under your umbrella. All right. I believe that
Um,
that is, yes.
I was just going to reemphasize how cool the Open Source Security Summit is, because this is our biggest event of the year.
Mhm,
We do it every year. I think this is the third year that we've
mhm,
done it. Last year we had Kevin Mitnick come in and speak, so world-renowned hacker, well, reformed hacker. And this year we have a speaker from OpenAI coming as well. So lots of really cool industry leaders in terms of open source security software and technology and security. So if that strikes your fancy, definitely come join. We'll all be there, at least watching. Um, yeah.
mm.
So thank you. Yeah. So I think is that all from you, Jasira? I
I
think
believe
so.
it is.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I guess I'll add one more thing. As I hinted earlier, we always do a Bitwarden store giveaway at the end of our session. So, great way to gift the gift of security to the people in your life that can benefit from it. Um, uh, also by looking pretty darn cool with some Bitwarden swag. So to enter, just go to bitwarden.com/shop. And when you scroll down to the contact form, just say that you heard about the giveaway during Vault Hours 36. And if you submit this contact form within 24 hours, then you will be entered to win. So great option for people looking for some gifts for those security people in your lives. And with that, I think that's the end of our session, everyone. If you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the questions pane or in the chat. We'd love to hear what else you might have to say. We'll be on for quite a bit longer, just answering questions when they come through. Ryan also added, yeah, we've added the hacker hoodie. So a nice dark hoodie with the Bitwarden logo, with the pullover that you can wear to look like a hacker, essentially.
Hollywood. Isn't that
Yeah.
great? Um, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna play us off here with a little bit of music. I'm gonna stick around for a little bit though and answer questions as they come up. But everybody, y'all have a good day. Thanks for joining us.